Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Great English Podcast, the podcast that makes learning English fun and practical. I'm Catherine.
And I'm Mark. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of idioms and expressions.
That's right, Mark. Idioms are those little phrases that native speakers use all the time, but they can be quite confusing for English learners.
True. But don't worry, we're here to explain them in a way that's simple, fun, and, of course, practical.
So, grab a cup of tea, get comfortable, and let's get started.
Catherine, why don't we kick things off by explaining what an idiom is?
Good idea, Mark. An idiom is a phrase or expression that doesn't mean exactly what the words say.
Exactly. For example, if someone says, "It's raining cats and dogs," they don't mean that animals are falling from the sky. They simply mean that it's raining heavily.
Right? Idioms often have a deeper meaning that you need to figure out from the context.
And today, we'll explain some popular idioms with examples to help you understand and use them in your conversations.
Alright, let's dive right in with our first idiom, break the ice.
A fantastic idiom to start with. It's all about making people feel comfortable in awkward or tense situations.
Exactly. Mark, when was the last time you had to break the ice?
Oh, good question. It was just last week at a work conference. I walked into a room full of strangers and no one was talking. So, I made a joke about how confusing the coffee machine was. Everyone laughed, and suddenly, the room felt a lot friendlier.
That's a perfect example. For our listeners, breaking the ice doesn't mean you're smashing actual ice. It's just a way to get people talking. Let's move on to our next idiom, spill the beans. This one is really interesting.
When you spill the beans, it means you reveal a secret or share information that you weren't supposed to disclose.
Exactly. It usually happens by accident, which can lead to funny or sometimes awkward situations.
Let's start with a simple example. Imagine you're planning a surprise birthday party for your best friend.
Yes, and you accidentally tell them, "Don't be late for your surprise party," before you realize it's supposed to be a secret. Whoops. You've just spilled the beans.
Here's how you might use it in a sentence. Oh no. I accidentally spilled the beans about the promotion. Now everyone knows before the announcement.
That's a great example. So, learners, remember, if you're trying to keep a secret, make sure you don't spill the beans.
Let's take a moment to explain the key vocabulary in this idiom. Spill, to accidentally pour something out. Imagine spilling a glass of water, it's unintentional. Beans, in this context, beans doesn't refer to food. It's a metaphor for secrets or hidden information.
And together, spill the beans means to let those hidden secrets pour out, just like spilling water or beans from a container. Our next idiom is hit the nail on the head. Mark, would you like to explain its meaning?
Of course. When you hit the nail on the head, it means you've said or done something that is exactly right or accurate.
Exactly. Think of it like driving a nail into a piece of wood. If you hit the nail squarely on the head, it goes in perfectly. It's a metaphor for being precise or correct.
Let's start with a simple example. Imagine your friend says, "I think the reason we're struggling with this project is that we don't have a clear plan." If that's the exact problem, you could respond, "You've hit the nail on the head."
Another example could be during a debate. If someone makes a point that perfectly summarizes the argument, you might say, "That's it. You've hit the nail on the head."
It's a great idiom to use when someone gets something exactly right.
Let's take a moment to explain some of the vocabulary in this idiom. Hit, to strike or make contact with something. Nail, a small metal object used to fasten things together, usually made of iron or steel. Head, the flat top part of the nail.
So, hitting the nail on the head means striking the exact point where it's supposed to go, which is why it represents accuracy in speech or action.
Our next idiom is very relatable for many people: bite off more than you can chew.
Oh. This idiom means taking on more responsibilities or tasks than you are able to handle. It's like committing to something that exceeds your capacity.
Exactly. It serves as a warning against overestimating your abilities or available time.
Let's use a simple example. Imagine you're already busy with work and school, but then you agree to organize a big party for your friend. If it becomes overwhelming, someone might say, "I think you've bitten off more than you can chew."
Another example could be a student who signs up for 5 advanced courses in one semester and then struggles to keep up. Their teacher might say, "You've bitten off more than you can chew." Let's break this idiom down into its parts. Bite, to cut or grip something with your teeth. Off, to remove a part of something. Chew, to grind food in your mouth using your teeth.
So, the literal idea is biting off a large piece of food that you can't chew properly, making it difficult to swallow. Metaphorically, it means taking on too much at once.
That's why it's often used to caution against overcommitting yourself. Up next, we have a delightful idiom, piece of cake. This is a fun one, Mark.
Absolutely. When something is described as a piece of cake, it means it's very easy to do.
Exactly. It's a way to say that a task or situation requires little to no effort.
Let's start with a basic example. The math test was a piece of cake for Emma because she studied so much. This means the test was so easy for Emma that it felt effortless.
Another example could be, as a professional chef, making a delicious pasta dish is a piece of cake for James.
It's such a cheerful idiom, isn't it? Who doesn't love thinking about cake?
Let's break it down for our listeners. Piece, a part or portion of something. In this case, it refers to a slice of cake. Cake, a sweet dessert that's often associated with celebrations, happiness, and ease.
So, when you combine the two, the idea is that a piece of cake is something enjoyable, simple, and easy to handle, just like eating a slice of cake.
Alright, let's move on to our next idiom, bite the bullet. This one is really common in English, but it can sound a bit strange if you're hearing it for the first time.
It does sound strange, doesn't it? But it's a great idiom. Bite the bullet means to face a difficult or unpleasant situation with courage and determination, even if you don't want to.
Exactly. It's about doing something tough, but necessary.
Let me give you a simple example. Imagine you've been avoiding going to the dentist because you're afraid of the pain. But eventually, you decide, "I just need to bite the bullet and go."
That's a perfect example. It means you accept that it might be uncomfortable, but you know it's for the best.
Another example could be taking an exam you're not prepared for. You could say, "I'll just bite the bullet and do my best."
Let's break this idiom down for our listeners. Bite, to close your teeth firmly on something. Bullet, a small metal object used in guns.
Of course, in this idiom, you're not actually biting a bullet. It's a metaphor for enduring something difficult.
Right? The bullet represents the hard or painful situation, and biting means accepting or enduring it. And that's all we have time for today.
We hope you enjoyed learning these idioms and that you'll start using them in your conversations.
Remember, the key to mastering idioms is practice. Try using them in sentences and listen for them when native speakers talk.
And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Great English Podcast. Please support us by joining membership for more exclusive content designed only for you, and we'll see you next time for another engaging conversation. To Great English Podcast for more fun and practical lessons.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. Until next time, take care and keep practicing.
Bye-bye.